This is how I made $10,000 in 60 days dropshipping as a beginner. The pros and cons and what I would have done differently knowing everything that I do now. A little bit about my story. I did actually buy a dropshipping course. It was $2,000 and I always knew that I wanted to start a brand. I always knew that I wanted to sell things online. So I thought it made sense to purchase a course to really learn step by step how to do this, because I just didn't know how to go from concept to execution, and that's what I needed help with. Of course, I was a little bit nervous. It's a lot of money. I didn't know if it was actually going to be worth it, but I must say that I did learn a lot from this course. And by the way, I'm not trying to sell you guys a course or anything. I don't even think this guy sells his course anymore. I just wanted to let you know that I did actually learn a lot. But that being said, taking a course and actually executing on something is completely different. Like they say, you could read as many books as you want, you could take as many classes as you want in school, but like actually starting a business is completely different. You run into so many little things, and you really do learn the most when your back is like against the wall and you have customers and money on the line. So I definitely feel like as much as you want to spend like watching videos and learning about dropshipping, actually going for it is what's gonna help you learn the most, and then you could always go back and get better at it. So it's most important to start, but I still wanted to give you guys just some pointers and things that I could have done differently to make more money. So I'm gonna go over those things with you right now. So step one is to choose what you want to sell. And I would say this is where I made my first mistake. I just kind of blindly chose what I wanted to sell. I was in the women's accessory niche. I just wanted to sell something cutesy and girly, and that's why I chose that. But if I had to do it again, these are my pro tips on how I would choose exactly what I want to sell. So of course you have to do your research first. Don't go in it blindly the way I did. I would recommend searching for products that either solve a problem or constantly needed or have really good marketing potential. And what I mean by something being marketable is something that you're able to create really engaging content for, and it just looks super cool on camera and it just catches eyes. And it just makes people want to buy it because of like how cool the product is. So it's usually those like gadgets that you'll see on TikTok, like flashing lights or little things for your room on Amazon. Like those are the things that I say that are really easy to market. And if you're not going to choose any of these three, the last thing I would say is at least pick something you're passionate about. If at least I was passionate about women accessories, I think I could have gone further with it, but it wasn't necessarily my passion. So of course it eventually fizzled out. After you've chosen what you want to sell, you're gonna need to find a supplier. I got my stuff off AliExpress, and that's really the only one that I have knowledge on. I know that there is US dropshipping suppliers. I just am not that familiar with any of them. But here's a hack that I was using on AliExpress, because a lot of people would complain about long shipping times from China. However, there is a place that you can filter out to search for items that specifically have warehouses in the US. So that's what I was doing. I was only picking items that had warehouses in the US, so the shipping time was about 5 to 7 days, versus items that were coming all the way from China and taking probably a few weeks to get to your customers. 2 is to build out your website. I use Shopify, and my tip for this is to make it look branded. So you're gonna wanna have a name, you're gonna wanna have a logo, you're gonna wanna have theme colors, and you're gonna wanna have really nice, high quality images of the products you're trying to sell. Don't sell a bunch of random stuff on one website. It's not gonna look legit, it's gonna look scammy. You're gonna wanna stick to one niche. You're gonna want everything to look cohesive, branded, and aesthetically pleasing to the eye. For high quality images, I just use the images that the supplier provided me. So it was really easy to just copy and paste those. However, one thing that I would recommend is to actually buy samples of your products and take your own photos. And then that also allows you to make content in the future. So that was one thing that I didn't do in the beginning. I just kind of pulled the images from my suppliers and I hoped for the best, because sometimes the image that the supplier gives you, the product differs a little bit. So it's really important to really see what you're getting or what your customer is getting before they get it, because you don't want to have any complaints. So definitely, if you can and you have time for this step, I would order some samples and make your own images as well. If you're having a hard time putting this together, the best thing to do is to go to a competitor's website and essentially copy what they're doing. And of course, when I say copy, I mean, you're never gonna make it look exactly like theirs, but you're gonna do your spin off on what they're doing. You're gonna take ideas and you're gonna make it your own. Fiverr is a great place to go for like logos. That's where I went for mine. I think I paid $20 for my logo. You're gonna wanna have a creative name that goes with what you're trying to sell. And again, theme colors, it's not that hard to pick like 3 colors that go with each other. I would also recommend making the website super simple and user-friendly. My website was literally, I had the pictures of my most popular items on the front page so that as soon as you get to the front page, you can start shopping. You don't want to have the customer have to click on 1,000 things to find like your best sellers or the things that they're searching for. So I always say, make your website the easiest for the consumer to be able to purchase. You don't want them to go through so many loops, because in the end, they're not going to make a purchase if they have to click on 5 things just to get to the item. So I would recommend having like a welcome banner with your promotion on it, and then right underneath that, have all the products that you're selling. That's how I had mine. So once you've picked your items that you want to sell and have a nice, pretty website that accepts payments, step 3 is going to be marketing. This could be either free marketing with social media or paid ads. So I went directly the paid ads route. I did not even mess around with free marketing. I was like, I want to get to the customers. I want to get to the money. And I feel like that's where I made another one of my mistakes. I was definitely scared putting money down on ads at first because A, it's something I've never done before, and B, you're literally putting your cold hard cash down in just hopes of a return. That being said, you do have to have great creatives and a great copyright, but you also just never know what people want to buy. So it's a lot of just trial and error in the beginning, which is totally okay. So since I didn't order any samples, I didn't have anything to make creatives with, so I just took the images from the supplier, and that's what I used to run my ads. And then on top of the images, I would put a copy. I would put like buy one, get one 50% off, or 20% off the whole store. So that was really how I started running my ads. And I also only put about like $5 to $20 a day, pretty much just testing different products until I found one that had higher interest than the others. And then I solely started pushing that one until I found another one that did even better than the previous one. And that's why it's always really important to test everything, because you just really never know what people want to buy. If you're having a hard time on deciding what type of ads you want to run, I always say just go back and look at what your competitors are doing. There's a place on Facebook where you can actually see what type of ads your competitors were running. And this was like bread and butter for me. I would just go on there, see what my competitors were doing, and literally just copy what they were doing. So that's super helpful to just keep you on track and give you new ideas. And just remember, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, nothing really is brand new anymore. So if people are running ads on their products, it probably means that it's working for them and that they're making money, or else they wouldn't be running ads to begin with. So that's why it's a really good idea to just see what other people are doing and then copy it in your own way and essentially do the same thing, because if it's working for someone else, it's probably going to work for you too. Just after a few days, I got my first sale, and I was super nervous because again, I did not order samples. So now I'm sending out this product to a customer in hopes of that the product is going to be exactly how it looks online. So that's why I say it's really important to get samples. Just do it so that you don't have to be stressed out when someone actually purchases something and you just hope that they get what the supplier is saying they're gonna get. And it felt really weird at first because you don't have control over the product. You're essentially the middleman. So you just give them the address and you just hope that everything in between works itself out. So that was really hard for me to like let go of the control of all that. Essentially, I got to the point where I had one winning product, and it really consisted of like, I'd say 90% of my sales. And that's usually, from what I've heard, how it goes is you kind of have like that one product that brings in the majority of your sales, and then the rest of the stuff on your website is kind of fluff. It just kind of like fills in your website to make it look like you have a lot more going on than you do. But it's also okay to just have a website that sells one thing and like specializes in one thing. So that's totally okay too. Once I started feeling a little bit more confident, I was like, okay, like I really want to take this seriously. So I'm just going to put $100 a day on ads. And that was such a big risk for me. I was so nervous, but I was like, if I want this to get anywhere, like I have to invest. So I was like, let me just try it for a week. So I put $100 every single day. So I was making my money back from the ads with a little bit of profit, but the rest of that profit was just going to logistics costs like shipping and handling. And then if I ever had to do returns or if there was a customer who, let's say the post office lost the product and I had to ship them a new product. I was trying to scale my business because it was selling and I had proof that it was selling, but for some reason I would just only make a little bit over for profit. So I was putting in all these hours, but essentially I was just moving money from one bank account to another and then back. The whole process was getting just super frustrating for me. And then I went on YouTube and I started looking up all these girls who make all this money drop shipping, and I was just trying to figure out what their Facebook strategy is, because I was like, I feel like I have something here, but for some reason I'm not profiting the way I want to be profiting. So I hit up some gurus. Even they tried to help me. So they helped me for free and they were just gonna take a cut off what I made, but even they couldn't scale my business. And that's when I really hit a wall and I got stuck, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I feel like these gurus couldn't even figure it out. So then I just hit a wall and I was like stuck, and I was stuck making $5,000 a month, which it seems like a lot. And it is a lot. Selling $5,000 worth of goods, I think, is an accomplishment, especially off the first month. But I also wanted to scale and actually make a profit. And this is where I realized I made another mistake, which was only having one channel of income for my business. And that for me was Facebook ads. I put all my time and energy into it, and it was working. I was getting customers' emails, I was selling, but I just wasn't profiting. And that's when I found out about email marketing, and that's where you actually make your real money. So the game is, you spend a little bit of money to gain your customers, you get their emails, and then you remarket them other things that are similar to what they bought for free with email marketing. And that's where I never put any focus. And that's where you can make 100% profit, because you already have the customer's attention, you have their trust, and it's way easier to resell them something that they already bought with you, because they already trust you with their money and they loved your product, and you didn't have to spend any money to gain that customer because it is just a returning customer. Versus me, I was constantly putting in ads to get new customers, but I was not addressing my old customers at all. So it's like a constant race to always get a new client and never going back to the people that, you know, already shopped with you that might want to shop again, but you just completely essentially forgot about them. Another avenue that I did not pursue was free marketing, which is social media, TikTok, Instagram. I just, for some reason, felt like that wasn't going to bring me customers. I don't know why. I just had that mindset, so I didn't even try it. And looking back, I definitely feel like it was worth a try for sure. It didn't cost me anything, and I should have tried it, but I didn't. And I know I've heard so many stories about people, you know, going viral and making money on TikTok from like a product that went viral. So I definitely feel like I lost a lot of potential money and customers that way as well. So overall, I made about $15,000 in the 3 months that I was drop shipping. I was making about $5,000 a month. But like I said, I wasn't profiting because I was essentially breaking even each month, and I hit a wall and I didn't know where to go. So I essentially gave up. And looking back at it, I feel like if I didn't give up, I could probably be having a pretty booming business right now. But it wasn't something that I was super passionate about. And if I was to do it again, I want to try and sell products that I actually love and use and am passionate about. So I just wanted to share my personal experience with dropshipping and how it worked out for me, someone who was a beginner starting from scratch and like learning and actually executing on it and trying to do it on their own. Not all dropshipping experiences are super profitable like a bunch of these other dropshipping videos. Sometimes you try and you know, it doesn't work out, but it's okay, because we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing through. I've learned things now that I didn't know in the past, and I'm going to incorporate them on my next business journey. So to wrap this video up, I did learn so much about marketing and branding, and just so much about like customer service and building a company and the way cash flow works. So if this is something you want to do, just know that it's not a get quick rich scheme. It is something that you have to put time into. I mean, every day I was answering emails, I was dealing with returns. Let's say there was a lost package, I had to call the post office. Like, these are all things that fall in your lap. And if you don't do it, you're gonna get bad reviews, or you're gonna get customers that don't want to shop with you again, or you're gonna get chargebacks, which are things that I had to experience. I had people's banks contacting me because they forgot that they made a purchase with me and they wanted a refund even though they received the product. So I had to like prove to the bank that I actually shipped their products. And so these are all things that I feel like people in dropshipping don't talk about, but there are a lot of nitty-gritty things that can essentially crumble your business if you don't give them any attention. So if you're just looking for something that is going to be like quick money, I don't think this is for you. But if you do really want or like are passionate about selling something and you want that nomad lifestyle, I do think it can be achievable. And this business is all about the customers, so it's really on you to make sure that they're having the best experience so that they could keep shopping with you and spending their money with you versus going to a competitor. Hopefully this was helpful for you in deciding whether this is something you want to get into or not. If you have more questions, drop them in the comments. I'll definitely answer them. Anyways, thanks for sticking around and listening to me talk and ramble, and hopefully some of this information was informative.